Hey everybody, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I have another layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm still using the 2016 September kits, and this is actually my first layout for the new design team term, and I have switched from Thursdays to Mondays. So now all my videos will be going up on Sunday nights. So my theme for today was alpha stickers, trying to use the alphas in a unique and different way. And so I've pulled out some things here that I think I'm going to start on my layout. I kind of had an idea in mind. I pulled out some of the papers, some cardstock, some of those die cuts and stickers from the Maggie Holmes Gather collection. And there's the picture that I'm going to use, and it's a very blurry picture because I actually froze it from a video that I took, but it is one of the sweetest pictures I have, and I absolutely love it, and I'll talk about it as we go. But my first thought was this is my fourth layout using this collection, and I had not done anything yet with these Simple Stories hearts, and so I thought I'm going to fussy cut some of those out and use those on my page. And my very first layout with these kits, I used pink cardstock as my background, and I pulled out the other pink piece from the cardstock kit because it's just so pretty, and it kind of goes with the color scheme that I think I'm gonna use here. This layout kind of takes a lots of twists and turns, and it turns out totally different than how I started, and that's why I've sped things up, because there's a lot of changes that go on in this, and so I didn't want it to be too long. But this is nothing new. I'm using white gesso. I'm using the Shimmers Creamies that comes in the color kit this month. It is called Grapefruit, and it is a very pretty cross between a coral pink color, I guess you could say, and maybe a salmon color. And when it dries, it's shimmery with this really pretty satin finish. And I'm just creating some background color here. I'm using my brush, I'm using the packaging, I'm splattering. I'm going to come in and add some different shades of pink, and I've done this on my last several layouts. These oil pastels were in the August color kit, so if you got that, then you probably have these, or you have gelatos. This is the same type of technique you could do with the gelato, and I'm just scribbling it onto the paper and using my finger and a little bit of liquid from the shimmers that's on there, and I'm just smudging it with my finger. And I know Erique has done this. I've mentioned her name in several of my videos. That's where I got the idea to just smudge it with your finger. And if you do it on cardstock, you can really see the texture of the cardstock through the pastel. It's really cool. I wanted to test out the teal color here, so I did it on the paper right where my photo would go, just so I could blend and get the color just right. And to get that light mint color, well, not super light, but the mint color, or the teal color, I guess I should say, that's in the Simple Stories hearts, I needed to blend the turquoise, the green, and then the white on top of it. And it winds up matching the color that I was going for. And I keep putting the picture back over it just to see what it looks like, and to make sure that you can see all of the stuff that I'm doing, because I don't want to cover all of it up. I'm just using a little bit of water to get the smudging going, and then just using my hand. So one thing that was different about this picture was that the shirt I'm wearing is more of a turquoise blue color and not that teal greenish color. So I wind up coming back in here in a few minutes and adding some of that color to the background, because that color is not really in anything in this collection. It's more of the mints and the tealish green color. And so I wanted to kind of pull a little bit of that color. So I'm going to come back in a few minutes and at least put a little bit in the background. And it doesn't wind up being a big thing, but I like that you can kind of see it toward the end. I'm going to add a little bit of the pink stilettos colorings, and that came, I believe, in the July color kit. It's a couple months ago. It's really pretty pink. So all of that's dry. Added some of the teal splatters as well. And here I'm talking about, well, I'm talking to myself when I was making this, about that turquoise blue color. So I'm going to use the turquoise oil pastel and just add a little hint of that blue in there just to bring it out. And this picture is of me and my mom. She was sitting on the couch one evening when she was at my house, and both of our girls just decided to just collapse on top of her and start tickling and playing and hugging, and it was the cutest thing. Everybody was laughing, and I was like, I've got to get a picture of this. And so it was very hard to get a picture because it was at night, so I just made a video of it and then froze the video and took a screenshot of it. And so up close, you'll be able to tell later that it's not the greatest lighting, but sometimes you just have to scrap the moment regardless of the quality of the picture because of what the picture is telling, or the story that the picture is telling. And so the look on my daughter's face is they're both laughing, and Paige's head is thrown back. It's halfway out of the frame, but you can see her face, and it's just so sweet. I love it. So now I'm going to play around with some layering. I've got a piece of the Simple Stories paper, that mint color behind the picture. I've got some die cuts and some things pulled out. I got those little hearts that I cut out and some of those wood veneer clips from Pinkfresh Studio. And I'm going to fussy cut out this ampersand and just use that as a layering piece. Now I'm just going to start to play around here. I fussy cut another one of those really pretty mint colored roses from one of the Gather papers. And I thought, since both of my girls were wearing their school shirts this day, their school shirts are navy blue, I thought that I would bring in some of the navy blue elements that are in the collection, especially in the Pinkfresh clips and the Simple Stories ephemera. There's a lot of navy blue in those hearts also. I want to use this clear piece that said Gather Memories, but I didn't want the black vine of leaves around it, so I just cut that off because I like the color of the word gather. So I'm going to use that. I'm just tucking things in, and for some reason I struggled a lot with the alphas. I know that was my theme for this layout, but I originally thought I'll just make a really long title, and I was inspired by the phrase on one of those cards that said, I think it was the little things become the big things, or the little things wind up being the big things, something like that. And I thought, well, that's a great title because, these are little moments, but in the grand scheme of things, you look back on them and they are big moments. And so I thought, okay, I'll just make a really big title out of all these alpha stickers and combine the fonts. I added some cord or jute, I think that's jute, on the end of that tag with the stripes. And then I'm going to fussy cut a little more around that acetate piece, and I'm going to tuck that up at the top. And I have not finished with my title. I kind of just let it go. I just wanted to make sure of where it was going to start because I haven't glued anything down permanently yet because I wanted to add my thread in there, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do some machine stitching at this point because if I was, then I would need to move my picture so I could do that. I've got some teal thread and some navy blue thread that I added in there. And I wanted to incorporate these navy blue stickers from Pinkfresh because of the navy blue factor. Okay, this is the next day. I had to quit, got late, so this is the next day. I decided to bring in some cameo cuts from this month's designs for the cut files. And so I cut the love, and I'm going to use the actual word below the picture and then the leftover part as a layering piece. And it's the really pretty soft pink with coral dots on it. It's very subtle against this pink background. And I also added some pop dots behind my picture because I decided that I really wasn't going to do any sewing around that area. And I don't even really know, that really didn't make an impact, the die cut love there, but I left it there. It didn't really turn out in my mind, or it didn't turn out in real life like I had it in my mind. And some of these die cuts and stickers, I love them, but I can't make them work. I don't know what is going on. I really wanted to use that piece that I've got right there that says hashtag true story because it was trimmed in mint color, and I thought it would be really pretty. But I couldn't make it work anywhere. I do add a couple of those little small rectangular shaped thickers. The you and me and the little pink one I put on the ampersand that says be a light. I do use those. I took the title off because I changed my mind. I put the whole thing on there and it was just too much. It was too much, too long. I didn't like it. And I thought, I want to personalize this title a little bit more. And so I decided to make it Grandma Sandwich, since she's basically smushed between my children. And I just thought it was funny. And I've never used this title before, so I thought it was cute. And so that's pretty much how I use the alphas. And I know that's not very original, but I really struggled to come up with a unique way to use those alphas. I couldn't for the life of me come up with something. Sometimes, you know, you have great ideas and sometimes they just do not come to you. And so I just settled on mixing and matching with a unique title. I'm going to do a little cluster down here at the bottom with a Simple Stories floral cluster and some navy blue thread. And I try to make that true story piece work. It was just, I don't know, it was just too big for that area. I am going to use it though because I think it's really cute. So instead of that, I'm going to use this piece here. And I like the way that looks because of the color. I'm going to layer it on top of one of these little pieces here from the Simple Stories pack, just to add a little bit of mint and gold. There I go again. I really wanted to use that, and it looks okay now that I'm looking at it on film, but in reality when I was making it, I don't know, something about it did not work. Okay, so all that's official because I've stitched through it. I've glued down the word sandwich. I added the little dot over the I. And I stitched through that little tab at the bottom. And I've decided, since I'm going to add that other little chipboard piece right there where I'm working, that it covered up all the mixed media in that area. And so since it's gold and pink, I'm going to add some more of the teal with the Prima Pastels, because it just needs that color up in that area. This is just definitely a layer heavy layout, just tucking things in here and there. And a lot of things I use, honestly, based on the color. And I struggled with what to put over here on the left, because, you know, the very first thing that I wanted to use was a bunch of those hearts, and I cut out a bunch of those Simple Stories hearts from that pattern paper, and I only wind up using 2 of them, I think. That always seems to happen to me. I always think of, you know, I'm inspired by something right from the get-go, and I get it all ready to go, and then I wind up going in a totally different direction and using something completely different. And everything that I originally picked out is still sitting there in a pile. Why does that happen? I don't know how things change or what happens or what point in the layout that happens. But I still have all that ephemera left over that I picked out from the Gather collection. It's still sitting there. And most of the hearts that I fussy cut are still sitting there. So it's just strange to me how one idea completely just goes out the window and it totally changes, but I guess it's just the way it goes. So I'm finishing this off with some of those really pretty crepe paper, shiny, really shiny gold phrase stickers, and then I'm going to come in and draw my lines for my journaling. And don't get me wrong, I like how this layout turned out. It's just different than how I had originally imagined, which I would say over half of the pages I make are just like that. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine, and that is going to wrap it up. I did add the date stamp, and that's the final layout. I love the color scheme. I'm glad that I brought in some of the navy blue and added a little bit of that turquoise in there in the background. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. It was fun. Hopefully my next video will be with the October kits. I think they're getting ready to be shipped, so be on the lookout for those if you ordered those, and let me know if you have any questions about anything. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you had a great day. Did I say that already? If I didn't, have a great day.